And so I don't know what would have been the better choice. I mean, I wished I'd have done it, but then again, things have worked out pretty well for us all the way around, so I'm not too worried about it.
So no regrets for either of you?
Not really.
What was that?
No regrets.
So no regrets with anything you've done as far as...
I don't know, this interview's supposed to last how long?
20 minutes.
20 minutes? Well, we don't have enough time to give them all my regrets.
No, I mean, I regret a lot of things. I regret not, I mean, parenting back then was so different than it is now. And
Well, back then,
you did a lot just with your upbringing and the family life that you had and your grandparents had. It was just a whole different spectrum of things that you did differently that I wished I could have been better at when I was younger, a parent. But, you know, you do the best you can with what you have, and hopefully everybody turns out okay, and I think all the kids did, so.
I think they turned out well.
back then too, you always had one parent at home. And nowadays, it's both parents have to work. It's a mush situation. So I think that plays a big factor in raising children and not having that one parent at home to stabilize everything. It makes a big difference, in a negative difference. So.
That had nothing to do with that question, but that's okay. So we're just,
We have 8 minutes left.
8 minutes left. What else do you want to ask us?
What are some things you like about each other?
What I like about him?
Yeah, what
He's neat, pretty neat. And he's, I like the fact that he's not as quiet as he used to be. He's much better at talking than he used to be years ago. He kept a lot of things bottled up in it, and he doesn't do that now. Of course, and another thing that when he went to church with me for a long time, but he wasn't a Catholic, and he was baptized, but he came into the church fully, and that, just going to church together, I think, helps us tremendously. Just the atmosphere of being at church and being with our friends and doing things we like to do, and he's changed a lot because of that, and he's changed for the better, and I like that.
Your turn. What are some things you like about Phyllis?
Well, let's see. I like her short hair.
You do know.
No, if you're anything like your son, you prefer long hair.
I do.
Yeah.
But my wife won't grow it after 46 years. She refuses to.
I don't look good in long hair, sorry.
But back to the question that I can't come up with answers to.
Oh boy, you're in trouble.
So much for sleeping in your own bed
Yeah,
tonight.
I love her now like I loved her 46 years ago. Everything she did then, I love. Everything she does now, I love.
He's so funny.
That's sweet though. To say after 46 years that you can still say you're in love with your partner and your friend, and
Yeah.
that's very sweet.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Stood up for a minute. Would you like to tap dance or something? Or sing Ave Maria or whatever?
As far as raising your kids, what are your thoughts and feelings on how they've turned out as adults and how they raise their own children?
I think our kids have turned out great as adults, and I think they've turned out to be good parents. I'm impressed with all of them, and I think I could have done my job a little better when I was younger. Like I said, I was very young when I had Danny, and I was only 19, but
19.
I was 19 when I had Danny, and you know, and by the time I had Tammy, I was real smart. I did a much better job of certain things because I knew more, and I was more
practice on dating.
well, and I was more comfortable. I was older. I was more mature, and back then, you know, our families, a lot of our family came from the concept of children should be seen and not heard, and it was hard because they were Eastern European descent. We are, and it just a lot of our, well, my grandparents and his as well were immigrants here. They weren't born here. My grandmother was, but her parents were immigrants, and it's just different way they brought up people because of what they went through. So you tried to be you know, like your kids, you want them to be perfect around grandma and great grandma, and you won't want them to make a lot of noise and all that. But, you know, and now our grandkids come over and they're just pretty much, especially the little ones, they just take over and do what they want to do. And I'm much more relaxed about it all. I was not relaxed when I first had kids, but they all turned out in spite of me, so that was good. In fact, one of the doctors that we see, he has seen all of my kids when my girls work for him, and he told me one time I was in the office, he said, you raised 3 good kids, and they are all good workers and conscientious about what they do, and they have good work ethics, which I thought was great, so.
Yeah, they must have impressed him, because he said the same thing to me on a separate visit, that all 3 children, he says, someday you're gonna have to tell me how you did it, but all 3 of your kids are conscientious and have very good work ethics, and he was really impressed, so.
But
That right there makes you feel good as a parent.
Well, it speaks volumes of your parenting skills too.
Well, as Phyllis mentioned about, I would have done this different, that different. I don't think there's any person on this earth that wouldn't do some things different, looking back in retrospect, in hindsight. But all in all, I think we both have done a good job, and I think our children have grown up to be very good
People.
contributing members to society. You know, one's in law enforcement, and 2 are in the medical field, one a nurse practitioner, and the other one's in the medical field in the administrative side. And all 3 are productive and have their own homes and doing extremely well. We got 5 grandchildren that we're extremely proud of.
Okay, well, before we conclude, you'll have any questions for me?
No, I don't think so. I just hope that this works for you and you get the grade you need to get. I hope it's what your professor wants to hear.
Thank you.
So, but we're proud of you too.
Thank you very
Our
much.
new daughter-in-law doing this. I give you kudos for going back to school and doing all this, because it's not
sure.
easy.
Thank you.
Definitely.
So I hope you get a good grade, hint, hint.
I have thus far, so I'm sure
Oh, good.
she's a good professor. Do you have any questions before we conclude?
No,
I think we still have like 30 seconds. No, we're good. That's it.
No,
We still have a minute left.
we can run the credits.
Yes, credits. Awesome. Special thanks to Michaela for being our timekeeper, my husband Danny for being our cameraman, and my in-laws Phyllis and Dan for participating in this interview so I can get a good grade.
Merry Christmas.
And thank you and Merry Christmas.